The Science of Wear.
Hola. So, unfortunately, I will speak in English. I know that in Spain, speaking English is something of difficult, but unfortunately, I'm Italian. I live in France. I speak English, but Spanish I don't know. So my name is Angelo Dore, and I'm a PhD student at University of Teramo. But in the same time, I work for Esri Italy, and I work also at the University of Marseille. So today I will show you how the GIS can help the historian. So I will speak 15 minutes, and I will go very speed. And after, if you want to make some question, I will give you a response. So. No. Where? No. See if I push. I can also push here. So, in 1789, as a result of the Great Fear, Marseille, like the rest of France, was hit by several accidents, which, for our case study, represent the beginning of our analysis. In fact, on March 23, the 23rd, while the Cahiers of Doléances was being issued, and in a warm political climate, a crowd of rebels, departing from the plain of Saint-Michel, a square outside the city wall, arrived in the area of the old port, and sacked the home of a wealthy merchant, Ser Reboufel, declaring officially the outbreak of the revolution in Marseille. March 23rd was a very important day, because it officially decreed the outbreak of the French Revolution in Marseille, and because, after several years of absence, the city patrols reappeared. But who were the city patrols, and what were their tasks? The city patrols, a sort of municipal police, were initially divided in 4 companies, distinguished the one from the others by the color of the feather of their hats, the so-called puff. The men who composed it, as you can see in the picture, without any type of uniform, were wearing cockades of white and blue color, and were armed with swords and sabers, and in very rare case with rifles and guns. In this militia, composed by young Marseillais, there were volunteers from every social class and every working corporation. In addition to the port workers who formed the hardcore, there were shopkeepers, traders, fishermen, and nobles. This militia assured the order during the great public demonstrations, had the function of escort, made patrol tasks through the whole city, and supervised the distribution of bread and meat. So our case study is based on the analysis of the reports made by this militia between March 1789 and February 1790. The archival references preserved in the Municipal Archive of Marseille have allowed us to outline the interventions that we have geolocalized on the map. So the most uncommon intervention concerned closing the door. We should remember that in Marseille there was a curfew, fights, duels, domestic violence, unauthorized occupation, noises, robberies, and popular riots. All the geolocalized intervention have allowed us to obtain heat map and important data on the most dangerous neighborhoods and streets, the most active regiments, the most active officers. So this is the first case study. Our investigation does not stop here. We will use the special analysis instruments to carry out a study on the city patrols, which operated in Marseille in the first 2 months of the revolution, and then on the bourgeois patrols, reformed by Sir Caraman, and that secured the order in Marseille in the last month of 1789. Our aim will be to show that the historiography that has always opposed to the bourgeois patrol has always had a partisan attitude. The bourgeois patrol, in fact, were better positioned in the city, more reactive and more efficient than the city patrols. So let's see this in detail. The city patrols were in service from the 23rd of March to the 25th May, 1789. During these 2 months, the city patrols organized all logistical activities around 2 places: the François Café, a red triangle on the map, and the Taverne of Arquier, so green triangle, respectively the place from where the patrols left and the headquarters where dispatches arrived and where most important meetings took place. The patrols took service at François Café and then went to position themselves in the guard post, represented with the blue and the black circle, distributed all over the city. So you can see. Almost all the guard posts were located near the city doors because the patrols had to control the arrival of foreigners who came in the town to buy bread and meat at a calmer price. This means that the city center was very badly controlled, having only 3 guard posts near the port, at the town hall, and in the city courts. At this point, we have compared the data concerning the intervention of the patrol with the patrol's guard post. And starting from the hypothesis that they were walking at speed of 1 meter per second, we have seen that in many cases, these troops arrived at the scene of the crime with a considerable delay. The patrols, so, were badly positioned, slow and not very reactive. And on 34 crime analyzed, the patrol arrived only 8 times at the scene of the crime in 2 minutes, 9 times in 5 minutes, and 17 times in 10 minutes. That is when the crime had already been committed and the executor had probably already escaped. The entry to the city of the army at the order of Monsieur Caraman upset the patrol organization. The commander of Provence, in fact, reformed the patrols that he called bourgeois patrols, and that were characterized by their strong presence, especially in the role of the official rich bourgeois and aristocrats. These new patrols were in service from May 25 to February 1790, and although severely criticized, were able to achieve the arduous task of ensuring order and security in the city. The new organization of guard posts, located in the most populated street, near public building and in usual place of assembly, allowed a radical control of the territory. Okay. So, on 72 intervention, patrols arrived 31 times at the scene of the crime in 2 minutes, 40 times in 5 minutes, and only once in 10 minutes. The activity of the bourgeois patrol can therefore be defined dynamic. This patrol, especially if compared to the city patrols, were constantly in movement. They knew the territory well, they were well organized, joined the regular troop, and guaranteed a constant control of Marseille intramuros. Okay. So, GIS and spatial analysis can be useful tools to try to reinterpret and understand some events that took place in the urban space and are difficult to explain. Looking through the reports made by the patrols during 1789, one of these was particularly suspicious, so we tried to interpret it with the help of GIS. So the report refers to what happened the 1st May 1789. The 10 volunteers who went out on patrol at 10 o'clock, after leaving the door of finance, so here, carried out a series of routine checks between point 2 and point 6. At point 2, they set back a man who sang on the street. At point 3, after seeing the door of an open house, They questioned the guests and asked them to close it. At point 4, they questioned 3 bourgeois who had come out of a tavern. At point 5, demanded the closure of a cafe found open near the door of a room. But when they arrived at the guard post at the door of a room, so point 6, the volunteers of the patrol received the man, Monsieur Jouven, with the task of escorting him to his home in a Rue Relais. So from here to here. Until Monsieur Jouven was taken over point 6, the attitude of the patrol had been easy to understand. The volunteer had walking along the street, tangent the city walls, had done routine checks, and above all had carried out the patrols, following a precise spatial logic. This dynamic changed from point 6 to point 7, that is, when the patrol carried out an atypical patrol, completing an incomprehensible zigzag route, which considerably extended the march. Okay? So what happened from point 6 to point 7? Why did the patrol make this route? How can the GIS help us to solve this enigma? To have an answer, we started from an hypothesis. The patrol, as in many other cases analyzed, probably had the task of making the control at the eventual closure of cafe inns, place where strangers or possible seditious gathered. For this reason, we have crossed the route of the patrol with the census of commercial activities. And we have discovered that between point 6 and point 8, so from here to it, the patrol would have crossed about 421 commercial activities, and among these there were 6 cafes and 15 inns. The patrol could therefore have wanted, despite having a man in his hand, to pursue its mission, which was to ensure the closure of refreshment areas.
Si queréis hacerle alguna pregunta a Ángelo, que nos ha puesto en situación de la Marsella en época de la Revolución Francesa. Muy interesante el hecho de combinar el GIS con la historia, que no hay muchos casos, y esto es algo que hay que remarcar, por eso ha venido, y agradecerle que haya venido desde Italia para ponernos en situación. ¿Alguna pregunta que os interese? Pues nada, pues muchas gracias, Ángelo. Bienvenido.
The Science of Where.